Release the quacken! Always works for Morgan at Goldshaw Farm.
Release the quacken!
I guess that's because he raises ducks, and I raise vegetables. I think. Well, hello, we're back at the Veggie Patch. The way I thought I'd start today is by giving you a little history on how the Veggie Patch got to be where it is. Got some still photos to take a look at, and I used the corn crib for a reference point through these photographs. You can kind of see the progression of how things went. Here's the first shot from spring of 2018. You can see the weeds haven't started growing yet, but that's what the corn crib and the surrounding land looked like. Here's another shot of the corn crib taken at the same time, just taken from the right side of the corn crib. And you can see the land has not been used in many years. Here's another view from the right side of the corn crib beginning of summer. And you can see how tall the weeds have gotten. And we had our work really cut out for us, trying to clear spaces where we wanted to try and locate the house, plus clearing the already open land surrounding. Okay, fast forward a little over 2 years, which would make it last August. You can see my wife has taken over redecorating the corn crib to make it more into her she shed. And you can see we've kept the area around it mown nicely, but we didn't have a use for that land. If you look closely, you can see stakes out there. Apparently I had run into Charles Dowding's videos by that point and was staking out for the new garden. This next shot was taken a few weeks later, and you can see the corner posts for the garden are pretty much in place. Now, if you look very closely, just to the left of the, well, I can call it the she shed, I guess, you can see the beginnings of the compost station. Here's a quick video from February showing the garden, and it's, of course, not in great shape, but the cedar posts are up in preparation for the deer fencing. If you look closely, you can see some plantings I did late last fall just to see what would happen and to get a harvest or two, which we're going to pull out in time for spring. And then the shot from March where I topped off the planting beds with compost, and I'm getting ready to pull out those plantings I did late in the fall in preparation for this spring's plantings. And back to present day, we see we have a visit from the rent-a-dog. And good for her, she will not come in the garden. And I am finally able to start planting the peas into the ground. You can see I've put in some T-posts already, which is kind of exciting because it's a sign that the warmer weather vegetables aren't too far off from being planted, you know, the tomatoes and eggplants and that kind of thing. Now, these are sugar snaps I'm putting in, and I'm planting them in a double row. And I'm going to be stringing lines in between the T-posts as they grow, as the peas grow, just to give them something to grab onto. Now, I sowed 2 peas per cell when I sowed these a while ago. And I just decided just to plant the whole cell with the 2 peas in them just like that instead of separating out into each individual pea. Hopefully it won't affect harvest or anything like that. Maybe it might increase it, who knows. Now, while I was there, I also sowed 2 rows of peas right next to what I'm planting there, just to extend the harvest. Now I sowed those about 3 or 4 inches apart, and I'm going to end up thinning them by half when they grow up a bit.
Holy, here we go again.
That's right, Boy Wonder. I had earth-shattering things to say about snow peas, garden peas, and even my garden plan, which I'm pulling out. But I had the wrong microphone switch on again. And now all I can do is feel like I'm in a foreign film where I'm overdubbing myself. Anyway, let's cut to some exciting pea planting video. So I'm going to be sowing beets, broccoli, and turnip seeds for greens here, and I used a different method for each, and we'll go through this. Here you can see with the beets, first thing I did was rake my little patch of garden nice and smooth, and I've drawn, of course, 4 perfectly straight lines in which to place the seeds. So when I'm sowing the beets here, what I'm doing is putting in 4 to 5 beet seeds per little spot. So I'm multi-sowing, essentially, going about 6 to 8 inches apart per clump of 4 or 5 seeds. So when they come up, I'll be able to harvest, say, the biggest beet of each clump and let the rest grow. And just leave them alone, and I'll extend my harvest like that. And then after all the seeds are sown, I'll just pull the soil back over the seeds all the way down the rows and tamp it down real nice. And of course I'll be watering after that. But that takes care of the beets. Okay, the broccoli was a little different from the beets. Since I've got transplants coming for the broccoli, I didn't sow that much. So I just used my finger to make a little indentation in the few spots that I did sow seed. And I just threw a couple of seeds in each, covered them up, and then you'll see in a second, you just water it and go. And then when the transplants are going to be going out, probably next week actually, I'll plant those in between where I had them planted. For the turnip greens, it started out the same. I measured out my area and then raked it out nice and smooth. And then for a sowing, I went ahead and broadcast over the whole area instead of making rows. Went by the instructions on the back of the seed packet just for fun. Ended up using up all my seeds too, so for actual turnips I had to go and get some more seed. After that was done, I went back with the rake and ever so lightly just raked it around just to get a little bit of depth into the soil. After that, I decided just to tamp down the area lightly with my hand all the way around, just to maybe increase contact. And then finish off with a nice, light, even watering. Here I'm planting the lettuce, and as you can see, first off, it's really, really small. I got anxious and I just wanted to get it started and get it put in the garden and have it out there. But I probably should have maybe kept it in the cold frame for a little bit longer to get bigger. Would have been easier to work with, I think, for one. But I'll keep a close eye on it, make sure it's okay. Um, Another thing as we go along, you can see where I'm really fighting those seed trays. Uh, I really pretty much destroyed them because the cells did not pop out real easy at all. And that's one more argument to go ahead and get the best, most durable seed trays that you can to start with. Otherwise, you'll probably end up using them for just one seeding, one planting like I did, and they'll be useless. Make sure and get the ones with the big holes in the bottom so you can pop out that little module of plant really easily as well. Well, I decided to put the fleece on both the lettuce row and the peas that I did the other day, just because we got a couple of nights at freezing or just below coming up, and we'll try and conserve a little warmth for them to maybe do a little bit better than they otherwise might. The fleece over the peas helps them with the wind as well, so they don't get so beat up. I apologize for the noise. My wife's out there mowing the lawn. You can see her out there. Yes, she likes to do it. No, I don't make her do it. Yes, she gets mad if I do it because she likes to do it, which is fine. It is such a beautiful day out here today. I'm going to go ahead and fill in the outside of the fence because I've got the fencing all the way around now. So I'll fill that in and probably end up at some point putting maybe a foot or so of cardboard and compost or maybe wood shavings or something over just to keep the grass away from the fence. But I'll go the rest of the way around and fill back in at the fence line here. I really should be doing something more productive, like playing golf. Lunch? All right.
Holy tintinnabulation!
And just so you know, tintinnabulation is apropos of absolutely nothing in today's episode, and probably nothing that I'll ever do on this channel. It's just fun to hear Burt Ward say that. If you don't know what tintinnabulation means, look it up. I had to. I had entitled this episode Learning Lessons, and really there are some that I've learned already in my short time doing this gardening. First thing is to get the best quality compost and cell trays that you can to start with. Very important, and I've already done the cell trays. I've just about beat that to death. Make sure you get the best quality you can right off the bat. All right, something else I've kind of learned, that I'm going to have to spend at least a little time every day in the garden. Right now, this time of year, there's not a whole lot to do, but I need to go out there every day, if only to walk the rows, just check on the few things that I have planted, pull a few weeds, just keep up with it. As a first-time gardener, or really your first time doing anything, you expect a lot from yourself, but don't be too hard on yourself when you make mistakes, because you're going to. You know, I have, and I will. Just try to learn from them. Now, I found out that I may need more space when I'm doing my seeding in early spring and maybe throughout the year. I don't have a whole lot of room in the house, and I don't have really nice south or west facing windows. So I think a greenhouse type structure would really help me out. And of course I got the room to do it over here. I got a whole bunch of old windows, so it wouldn't be a big deal to build myself such a structure. Might be a fall or winter project I'll have to take up. Well, that's it for another exciting episode of Dan's Veggie Patch. I want to thank Morgan Gold of Goldshaw Farm for giving me the okay to run the Release the Quacken video. If you get the chance, I would recommend looking up Goldshaw Farm on YouTube. Very entertaining and well worth your time. Speaking of time, I'll see you next time. All right, we're back. Okay, we're back here. Looks like the gravel seems to be coming up nice so far. Well, that wraps up